Patrick, why did the gap not get filled? Let's talk about this gap fill in the QQQ today and the idea that gaps don't always get filled, right? They don't, like, instantly. They don't always instantly get filled. People get this idea that, like, oh, if I'm going to trade gap fills, that means that I've got to always look for the gap fill because it's always going to happen. But you got to think every strategy in the entire world, there's a percentage, right? 70%, 60%, 80% of the time they work. But those 10%, the 20%, 30% of the time that they don't work. If you're a profitable trader, you probably have, a 60 to 70% win-loss ratio. When you lose a trade, it doesn't mean that your strategy doesn't work. That's just part of the strategy, right? You got to have your risk, you got to have your reward. And the same idea goes for the gap fill, right? If you look here at this move today, we had a big move up with the CPI report and what happened at open. What I really want to point out is the fact that we did a little bit of a pullback there at open, right? A little bit of a pullback, but look at this recovery. A massive recovery right back up. We ran the lows of that little low right there and then popped it right back up. So that is telling me that if we continue to push, we have now denied the gap fill. So the shorts are going to get squeezed, and this is a very bullish setup, right? So the fact that we did not fill the gap, that we barely filled the gap there, that's a very bullish kind of indicator that there's a good chance that momentum is strong and we're going to continue higher. So I really want to be aware that just because there's a gap in the chart, it doesn't mean that it's going to instantly get filled. We got FOMC today, we got CPI report, we got a lot of news and a lot of stuff going on. If you look at the NASDAQ right now as well, we pull up the NASDAQ here, looking at the NASDAQ on the 2-minute chart, you can see right there at open a little dip down. We dipped down just a little bit and then we ripped right back up. So that was a very convincing bullish move, and we were targeting the highs here from earlier when the data came out. That 50 area was the target, 57s for this break up from there. So we turned the pivot point into support. We had all of this resistance there. We pushed up, we get the breakout, we pushed right up there through the 50s, and we kept going. So I told people on the live stream, they were looking for a short opportunity. They're like, man, I want to get short, Patrick. I want to get short. I'm like, why? Why are you going to get short at this point? What is telling you to get short on this move? What have we not done? We have basically just held this overall trend. If you look at the bigger time frames, the 15-minute chart, yeah, we had some selling pressure. We run into some resistance. We're at all-time highs. Will the market pull back at some point? Yeah, there's a very high chance that we're going to fill that gap at some point. We got the FOMC news later on today. That's still very much going to be volatile and crazy. But in general, what do we got going on here, right? We're making this wave, that push up, and then that next push there. So I really want to be aware of the fact that, I don't just get short just because I think it's going to pull back. So I want to be aware that, remember, bull flags pull back, bear flags push up. Remember, bear flags push up, bull flags pull back. So this setup right here, as long as we continue to kind of put in these higher lows on these 15-minute candles, there's no reason to get short. If I'm looking to get short here, I really wouldn't want to get short until I'd say we get below this like 80 level, this previous area of support. Because guess what? Like, am I going to get short here at the 90s thinking we're going to just sell to the VWAP? That's a bad idea. That would be a very bad idea because obviously it bounced and it went higher. So I want to be aware of things like this. This is not a short until what? I would say until we get below this, and then we still have the VWAP. We still got a pivot point down there. We still got this breakout level, so we could still bounce off that. But in general, like, I don't want to get short until we put in a higher low below a key level. And that key level today for me was this 80 area. There's no reason to do anything until we get below that 80 level for a short. And we talked about this breakout potential for that push back up there. We are putting in a lower high here at the 540s. But again, today is a very special day with the CPI, with the FOMC. We're in this channel for now. This is not where I want to get short. Personally, I'm a momentum trader, right? I want momentum. I don't want to trade the channels, or I don't want to trade, the areas that I believe could turn into consolidation or chop zones. I want to look for momentum to trade that area, and I want that push or the pullback based on levels and all of that. So if you look here at the ES as well, the ES got stuck there at the pivot point, 5,453 pivot point right there. We knew about that before the market even opened up, by the way, right? We knew that was there. We use the pivot points every day, and you can see ding, 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 getting stuck there. And right now, a little bit of a pullback. Having the FOMC later on today, having more news coming out, I would be a little cautious wanting to kind of put a trade on here. It's FOMC day. If you're green, if you're sitting there green, it's 11:30 in the morning. It's like, why would I go and force more trades when we already made easy money this morning? And guess what? Well, you guess what? The 15-minute strategy, once again, even on a crazy wild day, the 15-minute strategy is paying the bills. Check it out. Check it out. What's it all about? Here we go. 15-minute strategy. We break through the 15-minute opening range. We pull back. We turn it into support. We push up there. That's about 50, 60 points to the upside there. We talked about buying here at the 80s off of that support for that push up through the 500s. It ended up doing it perfectly. We did it all live on YouTube, so make sure you tune in 9 a.m. We're doing it, baby, every day live on the tube. And, well, right now, lots more to come. FOMC, more action. It's going to be wild today, my friends. But guess what? The best thing you can do is protect those profits. A green day, a small green day is always better than any red day. I'm totally fine taking my profits in the morning and then walking away. Why go and do something crazy when I don't need to, right? Don't go crazy if I don't need to. It's not worth it. Why would I do something crazy if I don't need to? And, well, as you can see here, I don't need to go crazy because green, 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 green. We're doing it. 20 funded accounts with Apex. Right now, I think the deal is still 1 day past, but this 90% deal might be a little different. But in general, you can see, I told everybody on the NASDAQ, no reason to get short. We're still holding 80. We still got that support. We still got this channel. What's the next logical idea here? Well, the next logical idea is that we break out, and then there's that 19,600 area up there. So the bulls still trying to push us up here. Stay alive, my friends. Don't go shorting this market right now. If it wants to go higher, let it go higher. Get in long. Take some profits. Don't be afraid to ride the trend. If the trend wants to go up, why are you going to force a trade trying to short a market like this? We're at all-time highs. Who knows where it's going to go next? I don't know. That's why I'm staying out of it. That's why I'm walking away. And I'm not going to try to trade the FOMC or do anything crazy today. So, yes, gaps love to get filled, but they don't always get filled right away. You get this like very bullish setup when we didn't even dip 50%. I mean, we barely dipped back into that data coming out, and then bang, the market went higher. You can see, Apple as well. Look at Apple right now. There's a lot of strength in this market. There's nothing here telling me that I should get short just yet. Even if this crashes down, still, it's like, well, how do I know it's not going to crash down? How do I know it's not going to go higher? Well, I don't know. I have no freaking idea. So anyone that tells you different, they got no idea either. So there it is. If you guys haven't, hit that like button and subscribe button. You know what to do. Peace to the Middle East.